BArcadians, and welcome to another episode of Gaming News Weekly. With your host today, me, Tabs, and my good friend and channel compadre, Rich. Say hello, Rich.
Hello, how are you all doing out there?
So if you're joining us for the first time, we put this kind of gaming news show out weekly every Friday at 5 p.m. UK time. We rattle off three of the juiciest stories we could find with a little bit of personal bias in there as to the things we're most interested in. And then we have a quick kind of fire round of what we call everything else at the end, just everything we couldn't squeeze into the main for you. But before we take you into that, we regale you with what we've mostly been playing in any given week, which sometimes is a lot and sometimes is nothing. But Rich, just to apologise to the BArcadians, we've had some technical difficulties, which is why I'm appearing as if from the 60s, would you say? With this really grainy image. For some reason, the app that I use on my phone has decided to send us an update, and the update's really causing some issues with Discord, which we use to film and share audio over the net. So anyway, enough of that. Rich, though, have we got something to report? Yes, we've got lots to report on this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What have you mostly been playing?
So, mostly been playing this week on my own, Ghost of Tsushima. I downloaded it, actually prepped the upgrade and the director's cut, so that I could play it as soon as it was out on Friday last week. And had a little go on Friday evening, enjoyed it. Saturday played extensively. I had quite a bit of free time on the Saturday. Mrs. was out, and was able to play quite a bit and just fell straight back into the groove. Just such a good game to play. I really enjoy everything about it, even the stuff that seems like busy work. I like the completionist element of those things. Just fell straight back into the groove, and I think I've rocked I'm easy up to 10 hours on this update, this extra. Really enjoying it. And then we had a brief few sessions also, sort of Saturday, played a bit, and Monday played a bit, possibly Tuesday, of Legends, the online bit of that. Go on, Tabs, what you got to say?
No, I was just going to say, you're actually going to mention what it is.
What do you mean?
I was waiting for you. You didn't say Legends for a while.
Oh, right, yeah. Which was really good fun. Two of our friends who didn't get it first time round have actually got the Ghost of Tsushima now, so they're like wanting to play a bit of online, so we played a bit with them and trying to like level them up. So yeah, real good fun week in gaming for me, and yeah, to be honest, I'm looking forward to playing some more tonight, so that'll be me later on. What about you, Tabs? I think you've been into it as well? Well, you certainly played online with me a little bit, but...
Yeah, so we played some Legends, which was cool just to get back into. Having some right friction with the control scheme though, and that leans over into the single player as well. I think, I really was eager to get into it. I probably played about an hour or so now in total, but yeah, the controls I'm still getting my head around. There's so many. It's mostly the L2 and the R2, which pops up like a little pop-up menus with different kind of tools and weapons, and it's in the heat of battle trying to get used to that. And then you've got the parry button L1, which I'd totally forgotten you told me about. But no, so far there's plenty there in the expansion for anybody thinking about buying it. And yeah, I mean, from what you're saying, Rich, it's definitely worth it, isn't it, when you've got your teeth into it as you have. But I have been playing. Go on.
The only thing I'll say to that is, obviously, for someone like you who's first timing all of the challenges, obviously it's not going to be such a long thing. For someone like me who's dying constantly, it's a much longer process. So it's swings and roundabouts.
Rich is like shots fired there / dragging himself over the coals, because the duels I seem to have more of a natural kind of affinity with, because there was a pirate. Well, we shouldn't really spoil it, but it was a duel anyway that I've managed time, and I think, Rich, you struggled with a bit, did you say?
Yeah, I just wasn't in the grip. There's a very much a pattern with the duels, and I think you need to be in the pattern and following it. And it took me 15 or 20 goes before I got into the groove of them again. So that was challenging. It sounds like you just instantly fell straight back into it. So you're obviously a natural.
I don't know about that, but I got a WhatsApp from you which made me laugh and said, well, don't I feel completely inadequate?
Yeah, which you didn't reference at all.
Oh, I'm not going to rub it in, mate. You're better at me at loads of stuff, mate, so I'll take that. And then, yeah, so basically a bit of Skyward Sword as well I've been playing, which I am like, I've got that need to revisit now. I do want to see it through, and I'm enjoying it. It's really loads of creative stuff going on in that game, as with most Nintendo games. Also on the cards were 12 minutes, which I was looking at, and I basically said to Rich today, I'd heard the story, the ending was a bit rough, so I had to find out before I, went for it, and I've read the plot a bit, and I tell you what, I'm just out. I'm not even going to bother with it. It just doesn't sound like my cup of tea. And then, what was the other game, Rich? Oh, Psychonauts 2 is definitely on my radar. So obviously I'm so busy with these other games, I need to just wait and be patient, but I'm desperate to play that. And that segues us nicely, Rich, into the first news topic today. Shall I carry on?
Absolutely.
So Psychonauts 2 review roundup we've got for you BArcadians. So currently sitting at an 87 on Metacritic for the Series X, and I think an 89 on the PC. These were mostly taken from the Series X reviews there. So The Guardian gave it 100 according to Metacritic, or whatever their scale of rating is, and this is what they said. I've rarely played anything that is so unashamedly itself. Each hour is different, each character distinct and memorable. Each new psychic playground full of surprises. There are a few things here that belong back in 2005, such as an obsession with collectibles and a redundant tree of upgrades that only confuses the array of psychic powers, but this is a standout title that reminds us why 3D platformers were once gaming's most popular genre. So Rich, can you take us on to the next one?
Absolutely. GameSpot gave it a 90. They had this to say: on the surface, Psychonauts 2 is an engaging, ambitious, honed-in take on colourful 3D platformers. Sorry, I'll do that again because that sounded like gibberish. On the surface, Psychonauts 2 is an engaging, ambitious, honed-in take on colourful 3D platformers. However, the most rewarding aspect hasn't just been mastering its platform or combat, but peeling back the layers to see what's beneath it. To take a closer look at its characters, the depth of their struggles, fears and regrets, all of which serve as the game's foundation. In an emotional, hilarious and at times devastating story, but a story about forgiveness and second chances, it's an astonishing achievement in nearly every regard and quintessential display of Double Fine's mastery in story, gameplay and distinct direction, making it the studio's best game to date.
Well, I mean, that's massive praise, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big fan of theirs, so it really gets me excited. But just to complete this cross-section then, because I tried to find kind of 3 reviews which straddled the average, if you like. So this one comes from IGN. They gave it an 8 out of 10 on their scale, or 80 on Metacritic. Psychonaut 2's weird and wonderfully written story is full of interesting, nuanced characters that I instantly fell in love with. Most of its fresh ideas go a long way towards elevating the Psychonauts formula into the modern era, though its enticing new equipable pin system can be a little too stingy. Double Fine has also done a great job of expanding this universe towards both grander and more intimate threats, without losing the joyous childhood adventure vibes of the original. It may bring a bit of that mid-2000s action platformer clunkiness along with it, but Psychonauts 2 is still just about everything I could have hoped for from a sequel to one of my favourite games. So even there, kind of the lowest marked review, and I think 8 is probably as low as I saw it in the critical reviews. You know, it still sings its praises. It sounds like it's kind of, we know this is a game that's been in development for quite a long time, and was then picked up by Xbox, Microsoft, and it sounds like it's showing some of those seams, if you like, of a protracted development cycle and these anachronistic kind of elements and clunkiness that it mentions in these reviews. But on the whole, it sounds like it's just, Double Fine at their best with their creativity, their artistic flair. And yeah, I'm really keen to jump into this when I can get a chance. So hopefully that helped inform your perspective on it, BArcadians. But Rich, do you want to move us along? Story number 2, channel favourite, surely.
Absolutely. Death Stranding's DC Director's Cut gameplay trailer. So we had like an 8-minute odd trailer, I think, which was really interesting actually. So Metro had this to say about that. A new Gamescom trailer for Death Stranding Director's Cut highlights some quality of life features and teases new content. It wouldn't be an event hosted by Jeff Keighley if it didn't contain something from Hideo Kojima. With Death Stranding's Director's Cut out next month, a near 10-minute trailer highlighting some of the new features was shared at the end of Gamescom opening night live. Some of it had already been shown off previously, like the new firing range and racing circuit minigame, but it appears the Director's Cut will also alter how the main gameplay mechanics of making deliveries works, one of the most polarizing aspects of the original game. Obviously aware of the complaints about how boring it could be, Kojima and his team have incorporated additional features to make deliveries easier. For starters, you can get thrusters, which basically allow you to jump from extreme heights without taking damage or dropping your cargo. They look really cool, really like those.
I started to interject, mate, how boring it could be. They're clearly inserting their own assumption in there. I don't think I found any of it boring, but anyway, mate.
Inserts IGN 6 out of 10 review at that point. Shocking. Carrying on, they had this to say. You can now stick packages into a cannon and just fire it across great distances, and the helper robot has received a couple of upgrades to let it either carry cargo for you or automatically carry you to your next destination. Jump ramps have been added as well, which should make traversing by bike easier, and you can even perform tricks in the air for seemingly no reason apart from looking cool. The trailer contains a preview of the new Delivery Mission 2, with main character Sam entering a creepy looking facility of some kind. Judging by the gameplay, it looks like the mission serves as an excuse for you to try out the new stealth mechanics. Lastly, there will be an option to replay boss battles with what appears to be an online ranking mode to test how quickly you can beat them compared to other players. The trailer ends with a bizarre teaser involving Sam opening a door that leads underwater, but where everything's upside down. Fans are likely already scrambling to try and figure out what it means, but it probably won't make sense until the game actually play the Director's Cut. And Death Stranding is out on the 24th of September exclusively on PlayStation 5, but I suspect we'll see it also come to PC. Super excited. I mean, this was an 8-odd minute trailer. I really liked what they did with it. Lots of things that they just showed off in their entirety, such as the little jetpacks and the cannon. And the cannon looks like it could come into its own. You know, you fire. There's a certain distance you can fire cargo. It looks like you can affect that. So you might go, well, this is a difficult terrain to get past with your cargo, so I might fire it across that, traverse it on my own, and then pick the cargo when I get there. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. And like I said, there's a few bits. Certainly the intrigue with the strange sort of facility and what that's going to sort of entail and how that interludes into the story, but also this upside down sort of water bit at the end. I didn't understand that at all, and this big whale like comes in at the end almost as if it was going to attack Sam. So yeah, bizarre. What do you make of this, Tabs?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see. I know some of the purists out there are a little bit concerned about this kind of taking away from the experience. Which I suppose, yeah, is a possibility. But I think really what it's trying to do, isn't it? I think we kind of talked about that previous teaser trailer, didn't we, with Sam getting in the box and almost that it was a suggestion that Kojima's getting put back in his box. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that. PlayStation have perhaps give him a little bit of a poke to say, let's lower the barrier for entry of this game. Let's make it more accessible. Let's give some quality of life features. You know, for people who are more casual gamers who don't want that friction and pushback from a gameplay experience, all these things have just been put in there to make things easier should you choose to use the tools available or to whisk a bit of fun in there just to break up the experience.
I think you've hit the nail on the head perfectly there. So they've expanded the story a little bit where they can add extra bits in with this facility and whatever this underworld water bit is. But the thing that griped most people who maybe didn't like the game or didn't get on with the game was the extensive amount of like moving from place to place you had to do. There wasn't really a way of doing that other than actually doing it. And that was most of your time spent in the game. Well, as you say, what they've done is they've put some quality of life features to basically speed that up how can we make that more fun to play? How can we make it sort of less, time demanding, which is the big thing about this game. It's very time demanding in that aspect. And I think that's perfectly what this director's cut is going to do. It's going to open it up for people who maybe thought, well, that looks a bit rubbish. But actually, no, maybe there's some fun to be taken from that, or actually there's not as much of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can get where these purists are coming from, mate, because we've covered it extensively, and I think we kind of agree, don't we? There was a motivation from Kojima to purposely make it a challenging experience, to make us, to kind of make us stop and think about what society's like these days, how easy everything is, this age of convenience compared with, a different way of looking at things, a more romantic viewpoint. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's a lovely kind of piece of art and a game and a creation from Kojima, and I want more people to experience it. So if they have to kind of take that down on their terms with the help of some of these new quality of life and accessibility features, well, that's fine by me. I think, the more the merrier, if in that respect. And we're still holding out hope. I don't think we've had any strict confirmation that we can kind of play it together.
So there is confirmation in terms of it's been said that it's a thing by one of the creative people that works at Kojima Productions, but he said we'll expand on that, as we lead up to the game's release. So we haven't got the details of exactly how this friend play, which is what they're calling it, will work. But yeah, that is going to be a thing. We just don't know how it'll work. But I think for us, we've experienced the game through to the end, haven't we, Tabs? We've experienced the hardness and we persevered with it. And actually, we really enjoyed that. And it's really rewarding if you do push through that. So in some respects, we've experienced that sort of like pushback. So to revisit it as we're planning to do and to have some quality of life features in there
would be nice.
And that's a really nice thing for us. So yeah, that's how I look at it. So
yeah, absolutely. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right, mate. There is a bit of a grind there at times throughout the plot, and it's nice that we're going to kind of get a Death Stranding light in that respect and miss some of the more challenging bits of the experience. But yes, BArcadians, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We know we've perhaps got a few of Death Stranding zealots, of which we are too, following the channel still. So do let us know what your thoughts are. We'd love to hear them. But let's move us on to the final story this week, which reads, Horizon Forbidden West delayed with a silver lining, however. So this comes from Video Games Chronicle. This is what they had to say. A new update for Horizon Zero Dawn has added a 60 frames per second mode for PlayStation 5 users. Update 1.53 is out now and unlocks the frame rate so the game can now run at 60 frames per second in backwards compatibility mode. It also removes the graphics mode option from the game when it's running on a PS5 because the update makes it redundant, essentially. It also fixes streaming performance issues when the game is being played on the PlayStation 5. And the patch was officially announced during the Gamescom opening night live event, during which it was also confirmed, sadly, that sequel Horizon Forbidden West, heavily rumoured, has been delayed to February 2022. So not an awful lot to say on this one, but yeah, I think they did it in a good way, didn't they, Rich? To kind of couple it with this PS5 upgrade, essentially. And I think a lot of the Horizon fans probably wanted to replay the game before they played Forbidden West anyway. So it's like, keep yourself busy with this and, enjoy it all snazzied up on your PS5s. Wait that little bit longer. But, we're always big fans, aren't we, Rich, on the channel, of leaving these things to bake that little bit more time in the oven. Been amongst a global pandemic, which has obviously had its effect. I'm fine with it. It's disappointing, but I'm fine with it. What about you, mate?
The thing is, for me, and I've been saying for months and months that I don't think we'll see Horizon Forbidden West this year. I thought that was real stretching. But as the year went on, I thought we might see it for Christmas, but I was like, it's going to be an early December launch. That was the earliest I could possibly see this game. Out for Christmas, loads of people maybe get a PS5, get Forbidden West for Christmas. So actually, the fact that this is going to come out in February, I think that's realistically, in my mind, only like a 2-month delay. So the fact that they've managed to, with everything that's gone on in the world in the last 18 months, getting on for 2 years, it's incredible that they've only managed to lose out on, say, 2 months worth of a delay. I think that's incredible. So kudos to them in that respect, because we've seen lots of games that have gone a lot more than 2 months delayed. So yeah, I'm fine with it. And like we say all the time, if it needs more time in the oven, leave it in the oven.
This is it. And it still feels like there's loads of games, well, out right now, which I can't catch up with and keep up on top of, but also can't rattle them off for you. But I'm sure that it feels like there's plenty to do and get our teeth into, isn't there, as we proceed through the year.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're lucky enough to have a couple of consoles as well. But I think that'll do us for the main, Rich. Should we move on to the quickfire round? Everything else? You want to kick us off?
Let's do it. So first up, Saints Row is getting a reboot, which is interesting.
Next up, we've got UFL, which is a new football game. It's been announced to rival FIFA and PES. We assume it's free to play as well. Cool. Interesting trailer for that.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be interesting in that. And Epic with Fortnite have decided they're going to copy basically Among Us. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes down and whether it will be successful.
Yeah, a bit of a scandal that, mate, especially on the whole issue they had in the past fighting Apple and trying to play that moral card, and then they've gone and basically, copied Among Us and passed up the chance to work with them directly. Anyway, Halo Infinite delays campaign co-op and Forge mode until 2022.
And Black Myth Wukong has a new gameplay trailer. It's about 12 minutes. Unbelievably good. I mean, I can't honestly believe that that's an independent developer. It's insane. It blows my mind.
This is it. I mean, yeah, if you want to kind of a stark comparison, watch the Pokemon Arceus trailer and then watch the Black Myth Wukong trailer straight afterwards.
Exactly what we were saying last week, though, that indie games have become as good as some AAA games. That game looks incredible, but then you compare it to some other indie games and they just look, don't know.
No doubt helps by, we now know, don't we, it's made using Unreal Engine 5.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big reason. But
Unreal Engine 5 is available to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not an excuse for saying, yes, but I've got this great engine. It's available to everybody, so everybody can use it. But anyway, I'll digress.
Check it out, BArcadians, if you haven't already. And then last up, we've got Skyrim is getting an anniversary edition and a next-gen upgrade. So I'm sure there's a big part of the audience out there who are sick to death of Skyrim re-releases, but I'm sure there's also equally some ardent fans who are absolutely kicking their heels with glee at this announcement. I might dive back in, mate. I've never completed Skyrim. It's one of those games you get lost in all the side activities, and by the time you burnt yourself out playing it, you've not actually got through the main narrative. So we'll see. Maybe I'll revisit. But I think that'll do us for this week, Rich, unless you've got anything else to add, my friend.
No, I'm all good there. Spot on.
So thank you for tuning in, BArcadians, if indeed you did. As ever, if you've not already smashed that like button, which I hope you already have, do it for us now and help support and grow the channel. If you want to stay up to date and abreast of everything we do, make sure you smash the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. And yes, I think that, Rich, will be another one for the archives. We'll see everybody else next week, Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. Sign us out, my friend.
Stamped and completed.